right, welcome to today's session here. I'm interviewing Pam Torney from Ingage. So I'm just super excited to have her on today and talk about really the alignment between marketing and sales. So just to kind of give you some context to what that looks like is, today we're going to talk about how, it's a big topic between how you create brand alignment throughout your organization. How do you have the same message from what marketing's pushing all the way to what sales is actually saying in the home? And sometimes there's a lot of incongruency there between what the call center says, what the marketing and the advertisement said, and all the way through to what the sales rep is actually doing in the home and what they're saying. But on top of that, I think a topic that we've been kind of exploring and we'll kind of dive and ask Pam about here today is just even from a brand standpoint, today's market, people buy familiarity. They want to buy from a company they feel like they can trust. So if your logo and your design of your website looks a certain way, and that's how you acquire the customer, and your advertising looks a certain way, and then your sales reps get in the home and your presentation looks completely different and awful and old colors that you used 3 years ago because the sales reps using their proven sales PowerPoint presentation, there creates misalignment. So anytime you can create trust and continuity through your entire marketing and all the things your sales reps have and they bring in the home is also marketing. It's also part of your branding. So that's what we're going to talk about today, kind of give you that context. But without further ado, I would want to introduce you, Pam. Tell us a little about yourself, a little bit Ingage, and I'll start there.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. So as Sean mentioned, I am the director of marketing at Ingage. I've been in Ingage for a little over 2 years now. Started in a sales role and then very quickly transitioned into a marketing role when the pandemic hit and sort of have built this department up and now run the department. So I actually come at this from both angles. So in my career, I've done B2B sales. So I did straight B2B sales, working at Apple for a couple of years. But I also did marketing, lead generation, and marketing operations and sales operations for a fintech company for a couple years there as well. And fun fact, I actually have a bachelor's and master's degree in opera performance. So I'm a very unique candidate to be in a role like this. But I do have that cross experience between departments, and so understand how alignment affects both teams. So very excited to be here. And just for those of you who don't know, Ingage is a cloud-based presentation software that lets contractors and really anybody create interactive presentations with your images, videos, text, share them instantly with any device so that everybody's always on brand and up to date, and then measure the results and understand the impact of that content on your business through rich analytics. So we are a sales presentation software platform, but also sales enablement on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about that. Let's pull on your experience here of just if you want to kind of go off of on talking about building trust within today's market, obviously by just brand continuity. What is that? From a marketing side of things, how do you even create alignment from what marketing's saying and how it looks and feels all the way to a end sales presentation and the way the contract looks and so forth? What are companies doing in that side?
Yeah, so a couple different points to this. So I think first of all, just like why is it crucial to build trust in today's market? And we've actually done a lot of written content on this on our website. So it's a topic I feel very comfortable discussing because we've done a lot of research on this point. But according to a very recent Lucid Press survey, we actually found that consistent brands are 4 times more likely to increase their visibility both online and offline. So just think about that. Like they're 4 times more likely to increase their visibility both in the online world and also offline. So that could be flyers, that could be doing door-to-door knocking, that could be the in-home sales presentation. You're just going to have much more success if you do that. I would say more than ever, people are really distracted. There's a very short attention span going on right now. That's why everybody's so focused on micro content. How can I get my message across in a Facebook reel? That's a question that's being asked a lot. And you're more likely to be able to do that if every single piece of content your customer is seeing about you looks the same, has the same messaging, and gives them the same feeling. So that's kind of the why there. I think your next question was more about how folks are doing that. Was that right, Sean?
Yeah. I think how are companies taking that maybe that brand they put on their website, the messaging even they do in marketing, and getting that word out? Because you're right, in today's world, it's like it's so busy with all the things that are out there. But I was just talking to an individual who lives in Long Island, and I was mentioning to him we work with a specific contractor in Long Island, New York, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know them. Yeah, I see their trucks driving by all the time. I've seen their commercials. I've seen their, it's all these pieces of familiarity that actually build trust." I might have never talked to that company, but I've built trust there. But then, how do you follow through on what you're doing in marketing that's building awareness and building some continuity and familiarity with an audience, and actually make sure that that's actually followed through into the handoff into sales? On that, what are companies doing to kind of make sure that presentations look the same way, and all that stuff, even among their own sales reps?
Oh yeah. So I joke that I had probably the hardest job of anybody in marketing, where I was working with a bunch of finance guys at my last company, and every finance sales rep thinks that they are a maverick. Every single one of them has their own style, their own way of doing things, and they think that it's the best. And a lot of these guys, they've been in the business for a long time. So I would find 4, 5, 6 different versions of the presentation that I had spent hours building out there in the field. And the most appalling thing was they would use old logos, they would use old colors, they had old stats. There was one guy who hadn't updated the downloaded version of his presentation in 6 months, and we had doubled our customer base. So he was presenting data that was 50% correct to potential prospects. So you really want to avoid that. So I think there are 3 real ways that you can do this to align sales and marketing messaging so that it's consistent across the board. We know that if those 2 departments are aligned, you're going to see about 33% more revenue. That's been proven across various research studies. So number 1 is cloud-based software. I cannot emphasize this enough that if you are not using cloud-based software in your business, your teams are going to have no clue what the other one's doing. There's just no way. You cannot get by with emailing attachments anymore. I was just telling Sean before we hopped on the webinar, I was out of the office for 2 business days over this long weekend. So I took 5 days total off. I came back to 200 emails from 2 business days. There's no way that I'm going to see everything that's in my email, but when I need to go grab a piece of maybe, a blog draft or a piece of content that I'm going to be sharing out through a partner, I go to our cloud storage to find the latest version versus sifting through my email to try to find an attachment. Easiest way to keep everybody on the same messaging. And it also helps out, but it helps both the sales and the marketing team. You don't want the marketing team giving one message to the customer on the lead generation side of things, giving them information about a promotion or about the process of sales, and then have the sales team come in and say something totally different. It just puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth. So cloud storage, cloud software across the board. My second thought process here would be that marketing has to be involved throughout the entire customer life cycle. I know that traditionally marketing has been all about lead generation. I would argue that at this point in time, we need to be focused on full cycle marketing. So every point in the customer life cycle, we need to be there with content. We need to be there with messaging. We need to be there with collateral. So when you are leveraging high quality design products throughout the customer journey, you're going to see an increase in close rates. You're going to see an increase in referrals. We just ran a case study with a customer out of Texas. They are a home services customer, Quality Home Products of Texas, and they created a gorgeous presentation that they had their in-house graphic designer actually build. So they had a real graphic designer build great visuals that are consistent across their website, their commercials, their digital presence, all their ads. It looks the same as all of that digital content that they see during the lead generation process. And they've had an 8 to 10% close rate increase across the team by having consistent messaging and consistency across the customer life cycle. So there's just no way about it at this point. You have to have that consistency. And then finally, I think there's a really big opportunity at this point to use all the data that we've been collecting. We always joked like Big Brother's following us around. Like, why do I care if my home speaker can hear me? Because my phone knows everything about me and it's probably selling all of my data anyway. Like, everybody knows everything about you. We have so much data at our disposal, whether it's Google Analytics, whether it's your social media analytics, your sales KPIs. If you have a presentation platform like Ingage, you'll have presentation metrics from in the home. If you are using, all different kinds of video platforms like YouTube, or if you work with a partner, you'll have their partner page information, customer feedback surveys. You have all of this data. You should use it to inform your marketing materials and your sales materials.
Yep.
It has to go both ways. You have to use it to inform both of them. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can't just inform your marketing materials off of the website information. You can't just inform your sales materials off your KPIs. You have to use that data across the full life cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, and often companies, we look at like the big companies have continuity, and can create that continuity. But in today's market, that technology is available for everybody for fairly low amounts of energy and effort. You don't have to be a giant company to utilize those tools anymore, or to kind of take that life cycle of a customer and meet them where they're at. Or and I think even like the communication between marketing and sales traditionally has been a little bit disjointed. It's the marketing is the lead generator, and then they're passing off the lead, and they might pick up the lead again if it was a no demo or into a rehash cycle. But it very much is not just marketing as lead generation anymore. It's like, how can you enhance the sales process? And it takes a lot of communication with that the sales team and marketing collaboration there of how to be able to do that. As well, even from like the promo that you have, you're running a 12 months, no interest, no payment promo on your website. Do your sales reps know if the lead was generated with that expectation of that's what promo they were interested in, versus another lead source that you were even purchasing from that had no promo to it? Does your sales rep have even understanding of what was said in that phone call, and in setting the appointment, where the lead source came from, what expectation the homeowner had, all the way to the sale? There's lots of those different pieces there too, that communication has to be had so that the customer has a consistent message from you throughout that process.
Most definitely. And I would add an extra point on there. Does your sales rep have the closing tools in their tool belt in the home when they're giving the presentation? Do they have a page about the promotion that was used to generate the lead, that explains the promotion in more detail? Because we know nobody reads the fine print. So we're very aware no one reads the fine print anymore. So do they have content to deliver that shows that marketing messaging in the home?
Yep, absolutely. And let's stop on the presentation side of things. Obviously, when I was doing in-home sales, it's all the PowerPoint presentation, and you did a download of that presentation, and maybe once in a while you were told to go update that presentation. It got updated, but yeah, I think we all know that sales reps are manipulating their presentation just a little bit, and you'll never know it. And your top sales rep might have 100%, 180-degree presentation than the other sales rep does. Because that's just the way they sell. They like to add 4 more slides and have more detail. And sales reps touch on different subjects or skip slides. But having like we've had many other of our guests on the webinar series here, from just how to step sell, how to be able to create consistency in your sales presentation and your sales process. Like it's no different when it comes to the sales presentation.
Mm-hmm.
You can cover a lot of the same things verbally, maybe the same way, but how can your presentation stay consistent for all of your sales reps and then be updated, remotely? So if
Mm-hmm.
you mind touching on just like the cloud-based presentation, like doing one update and then that being disseminated down to your sales organization of,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we've, from a graphics, from all that kind of stuff. Like tell us what are big companies or what are like some of your clients doing and kind of how does Engage kind of fit that?
Yeah. So I think cloud-based presentation software is more important than ever. And I can give a really clear example of why. So I cannot open my LinkedIn or read an email from one of our partners without seeing something about the supply chain and pricing volatility. It's everywhere. You never know what you're going to have in stock or be able to sell at a given point or what the price on that product is going to be because everything keeps changing so fast. So if you can't communicate what's available to your reps quickly and make sure that they are not presenting the customer with something they can't have in the home, you're doing a disservice to your reps and to your customer. It's really challenging as a sales rep to remember everything that's going on right now, plus their step sales process, plus how to do all of the paperwork that is accompanied by an in-home sales appointment. So we have a customer who's out of Long Island as well, Allure Home Improvements. They've been with us for a while. Great customer of ours, but they actually use our platform to make sure that the pricing that they're showing to customers for their different packages and different options is constantly up to date. So when they go in, and let's say the price of lumber has increased 20% in the last week, and they want to adjust their pricing for the round of contracts they're going to be putting out this weekend, they can go in, update that price by 20%, hit save. And when they back out, it'll push out to everybody and everyone is forced to download the new page. They do not have an option to present the old pricing to a customer. And it just saves the sales managers such a big headache. It makes production happier because when production gets in to actually install the job, like they know that proper expectations were set with the customer. It makes marketing happy because they're not getting yelled at because the sales materials were out of date. So it's just a really important thing to have, I think, across the board with this volatility. And also the labor market being the way that it is. It's really hard to find new reps. And when you do find somebody, they're kind of need to hit the streets faster than ever because you probably have more demand than your team can meet. So how do you get a new rep with the best version of a presentation that's not whatever was saved on someone's computer or someone's iPad? You want them to have the version that your top rep is using. You want them to have that same version that's going to make them that top seller. And how do you get that to them if you don't have everybody using the same cloud storage process?
Yep. Yeah, just creating consistency across the board. I think at the end of the day, I think everyone wants to duplicate their best sales rep in their best sales process and to create duplicable, scalable, systems. You add new reps in, they're following the same process. But your sales presentation and what steps and which pages that they go to and what they explain, all that kind of stuff is very important. So one thing that we're hearing a lot from companies is that they have less time in the home than ever. Like their whole, even, that is this presentation, expect to spend 2 hours to give you a demonstration on Windows. We have more and more homeowners are pushing back on that. They're pushing back on, I don't have that much time. Are you kidding me? Like I don't have 2 hours to sit with your sales rep. And even if your appointment setters, are able to set expectations that it's going to be, different companies at different processes. They say it's only going to be 30 to 60 minutes and that really going to last 2 hours. And other companies are actually realistic and saying it's going to last 2 hours when they set that and issue that appointment. But either way, homeowners have less time. Our attention spans are less than they've ever been.
Yep.
So, for me to sit in front of somebody else across the table talking for 2 hours about Windows or a new bath or what that looks like, we have less time. We're retaining less information. And I think when it comes to the consistency of sales reps as well, is that in some ways the presentation can create more consistency of process, because it's the same every time versus a sales rep going to go in there and act a little bit different, say things differently every time. And they're, a good sales rep's going to be pretty, match the homeowner's demeanor, but you still have to give the presentation every single time. And we don't all wake up this in the same amount of energy and, every day. So one presentation is going to look different than the other, verbally. But let's talk about just how that time cycle, like that you in the home, how do you make that more valuable? I've heard companies starting to use video a lot more and trying to make their presentation do more of the heavy lifting of like building of the value, and letting the presentation kind of do that, because we're used to buying online. We're used to having the value being presented to us in a digital way. So tell me your experience with that, kind of what you've seen, companies do in that space as well. And especially on the video side, I think that's something that we get a lot of questions about.
Yeah, so definitely. I'm hearing this from everybody as well. There's actually a window replacement remodeler. We've been trying to get in front of them for a while because we're like, we're perfect for you. We are perfect for your company. We finally got a meeting with them because they came to us saying we used to have 3-hour-long appointments, and now we're lucky if we get an hour. We're lucky if we get 1 hour of uninterrupted time in front of the homeowner. We don't know what to do to get the most bang for our buck for that 1 hour. We've got this inspection process, we've got this quoting process, the estimate, the financing, but we don't know what to do to take our 45-minute sales presentation and condense it down to 20 minutes. So as I'm hearing it too from pretty much everybody. So yeah, I think that you're hearing all the right things and on the right track with the idea of using video. We talk about using high quality visuals and video in conjunction with each other within a sales presentation, for a couple of reasons. So 65% of people are visual learners. So if you're walking into a homeowner situation where you don't know what to expect, you have no idea how these people learn, your best bet is to go with the way that most people learn, which is visually. So we also know that the human brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. So why on earth are you going to show them a bulky sales presentation that's covered in text when you know they're not going to retain that information a few days later? You want to give them visuals, images, and we want to use as much video as possible because consumers are actually 85% more likely to buy your product or service after they watch a video. It is a researchable fact. It has been proven. So these are all tools that you can use to shorten that sales presentation, build that trust, build that value sooner. I hear from our customers all the time that they're encountering a lot of people who are doing home remodeling and home renovations for the first time. And they're encountering them because of how insane the housing market is. So you've got a lot of people who want to move but can't because there's no inventory in their area. So they're stuck having to remodel a house or put an addition on or do something to make it more hospitable for their current family. Or you've got folks who couldn't afford to buy the move-in ready house that they wanted to buy in their neighborhood because the prices are so high. So they bought a fixer-upper. And they've never done that before. And now they're like, oh, I have to replace 20 windows on my house. I have no clue how this works. I've never done a roof tear off before. What can I expect here? You need to educate these people, but you have an hour. So fastest way to do that is to put something in front of them that's going to show them exactly what you're going to do to their house. Show them why your product is different. Show them the value that you're going to add to their home in a quick, digestible way versus showing them, I know we all love it, the cost value chart. Please God, do not put that in your sales presentation anymore. It is so bulky. It has so many words. Instead, show them a before and after with the estimated value of the home. You show them this home before we did the windows was valued at X amount. This was the investment they put in. Now this home is valued at X amount. That's going to speak to them more than showing them a chart or showing them a pile of text.
Yep. Well, you can still cite a study like the cost value report, but make it visually appealing
Yeah.
And you don't have to show all the other line items of other projects and all that
No,
stuff.
and you
I've
can
seen.
definitely send them that information if you have a learner who
Yeah.
likes to read. Like I'm a
Yep.
reader, I would actually enjoy reading that chart,
Yep.
but most people would not. So
Yep.
make it an option to select from, but give a more visual, digestible version.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, and let's park on video here for a second here. I mean,
Mhm,
there's the different types of videos of like the about us video,
mhm,
and I think people get pretty stuck on what type of video to create and like how quality does it need to be, or do I need to go hire a production company? And then if I hire them, what should I even say? And there's, to be honest, in the home improvement space, there's just not a whole lot of video that's out
mhm.
there. And because we don't know what to say, because we don't know, and that's part of it is we don't know what the customer doesn't know.
Mhm,
So I'm curious what companies are doing from a video standpoint. Are they doing and it is kind of awkward in an in-home sales presentation to be like, here's my iPad. I'm going to press play and we're both going to, pop the popcorn and sit here and watch it together. So
mhm.
I'm curious what companies are doing to kind of break the awkwardness of let's watch this video together, and the like what part of the presentation is valuable to have video
Mhm.
for and what isn't.
Yeah, in theater we do call that the I don't know what I'm doing with my hands part, where like your hands are just like doing something that's different than what you're trying to say because you're just not paying attention to them. They're just like I don't know what to do with my hands here. And
Yep.
they end up being like awkwardly at your side or like, like Sound of Music hands while you're
Yeah.
doing things. We don't want that. We don't want that in
Yep.
your video. We don't want that in your in-home sales presentation. So I think there are a couple really good places to add video to an in-home sales presentation. So the first is that about us section. It does not need to be your life story. It really doesn't. We do have some customers where it is kind of their like they're older companies. New Pro in New England comes to mind. They've been around since the 1940s. They have a
Yep.
wonderful, really comprehensive about us video, but they also have 3 generations of owners who can speak on that video and have been around a really long time and have built up a lot of rapport in the community. For a
Yep.
newer company or a company that maybe just doesn't have that kind of a story yet, really it's just about introducing yourself. Who are you and why are you doing what you're doing?
Yep.
Why should the homeowner trust you? Is it because you grew up helping your father in the same business with remodeling, or you had a bad experience with a contractor and decided that you wanted to be the exception and really provide that exceptional customer service for folks in your community? So I think it can be really simple. Who are you and why are you doing what you're doing? um, People connect to that. It does not have to be super fancy. Most iPhones today have pretty good cameras on them. You can set up an iPhone on a tripod and get like a $20 mic off Amazon, and you can record this video. It's
Yep.
pretty easy. If you want to get fancy, there are tons of freelancers who can record it for you and cut together a good video. But honestly, the most impactful ones that we see are people just being really straightforward, really upfront, really authentic. So
Yeah.
that's the first place that I think video is really valuable. The second place is on the actual installation side of things. Like I mentioned before, a lot of our customers are seeing first-time home remodelers. So a lot of people who have absolutely no clue what a roof tear off is going to do to their house. No
Yep.
clue, don't know what to expect. They're like, am I going to have 3 dumpsters in my front yard? Am I going to have a bunch of guys just like swinging hammers on my roof for 6 months? What is this going to be like? They just don't know.
Yep.
So it's really helpful if you can actually show them a video of what the process looks like so that you can show them exactly what you're going to do to their biggest investment, to their home. We have a customer in Michigan, CNL Ward. They're an exterior remodeler. They do roofing, siding, decks, all that stuff. But they actually have a really cool time lapse video in their presentation that they can scroll through that shows the customer every single part of the tear off and remodel process for a roof. And they've said that directly contributes to the 7.5% increase in close rates that they've experienced. So I would encourage you
Yeah.
to use that as an educational moment. Also, it's going to save you a lot of time. If you can just
Yep.
show a video of what the process looks like, it's going to be a lot faster than trying to talk
Explaining
everyone
it,
through.
or yeah, and I think it goes back to that people are visual in nature
Mm-hmm.
of going like, you can tell me here's our 7-step process of how we, are going to take care of
Mm-hmm.
your roof and we're gonna first roll a dumpster up to your home. You're gonna have materials delivered. You're going to, crew's gonna
Mm-hmm.
show up and put up protection. And like it's one thing to talk through that. And
Mm-hmm.
we often know that as a sales rep walking in the door because we've seen it before, but
Mm-hmm.
they haven't. They've never experienced it before, and that just creates a level of comfortability and
Mm-hmm.
trust
Yeah,
in
I want
that
to know what
process.
that dumpster is going to look like in my front yard.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Is
is
it
that going to
gonna
look
like,
like?
yeah,
How
what
is
does it
this
look
going
for
to
other
impact me?
people? And yep,
Yeah, if you're going to
totally.
take up my driveway with materials, what's that going to look like? I want to know what
Yep,
to expect in advance. And so I think those are the two places where I would start. And they're very easy to do. The first one is literally set up an iPhone with a tripod and have the owner or, the president of the company just record a 2-minute video about
yep,
why he's doing what he's doing. And then the second video, set up a tripod and take time lapse every single, like just take a video every single day of what you're doing
yep,
on the house, cut it together and turn it into a time lapse.
yep. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend it. When it comes to video, it's just about creating something, and you can
Mm-hmm.
always iterate upon it.
Yes.
You create your base level video and what that
Mm-hmm.
looks like, and you can always create something else and replace it in a week.
Yeah,
If you don't like it or you don't like a part of it, you can always re-record. The tools are at our disposal.
yeah, it's not like you're paying to print materials. That's the beautiful thing
Yes.
about digital materials across sales and marketing is that you're not paying to print them. So
Yep.
if things are changing quickly, great. You can just update that. If you're running an ad on Google that is using an image that you don't think is really getting your messaging across, you can swap that out. Same thing if you're running a Facebook ad that's got a video in it and you don't think it's really performing well, go put your owner in a room, have him record another video and put
Yep.
that out in the ad. It's
Yep.
so easy to stay up to date across your sales and marketing messaging with video and digital materials.
Yep, absolutely. And again, with a tool like Engage, you could swap out the video, and all your sales reps are using the same video.
Yes.
Um,
Not whatever was saved in their photos on their phone.
yeah.
I
Yep.
cannot tell you. I have had guys tell me, they're like, yeah, I just take out my phone and show them pictures. I'm like, do you prep the folder that you show them in advance? Or like you showing these people your children's, baptism videos or something? Like, I want to be careful
Yeah.
about this.
Yep. I think creating consistency across the board is so needed. Obviously,
Mhm.
to run an organization with more than two people,
Yeah.
across the board, it's that communication that's necessary. So, on the subject of video, I think video is one of these pieces of it. But what do you see companies doing really well with their presentations to differentiate themselves? Just like we talked about, you get shorter period of time in the home every
Mhm.
day. But what we're hearing from everyone else too is that you're also competing with more people today.
Mhm.
We have a much more savvy shopping customer today, that you have to differentiate yourself. And that's the key thing that we hear all the time is like, it's not it's not a price thing. It's, price, you get price shoppers and on the stuff. But again, you have to build the value. What are companies doing well in a sales presentation to truly differentiate themselves
Mhm.
from other companies with an about us? Here's my process. Here's kind of a basic, what you're going to get when you go with us, process. I mean, it's all pretty similar.
Yeah, I think there are a few different things. So, number one, I really like customer testimonial videos. I think they're really impactful. And it's a lot easier than clicking through Google reviews in a presentation. You have an idea when you're walking into a sales appointment of what the customer is looking for. So, because they should have been pre-qualified, you should know if you're an exterior remodeling company, you should know, are they looking for roofing, siding, windows, having an idea of what they're looking for, and then picking the right testimonial video to play that speaks to their need.
Hmm.
Hyper personalization is a huge trend going on in the marketing industry at this point. You see it with Facebook ads where you can target it down to a couple blocks in a neighborhood. People want to see things that look like them. They want to see jobs that look like theirs before they buy. So I think having a customer testimonial video in your arsenal for the different lines of business that you sell is really impactful. And it's much faster, again, than like clicking through Google reviews and having to read them. There's nothing more awkward than reading off a page to a customer from an iPad. There's nothing more awkward. It does so much better if you can say, like, this is Linda. We did the window replacement in her house. She lives about 10 minutes from you. I'm going to let her tell you how her experience was, and just click play. That's a big differentiator that we see. Some of the other ones are really demonstrating the quality of the products that will be used in the home. So we work with a bunch of different manufacturers, and one of the things that they're always trying to do with their contractors or dealers is give them the information about why their products are superior to other options that are on the market. My advice would be to use that information, but maybe just adjust it to your company branding. I'm a first-time homeowner. I just bought a place a few months ago, and I'm less interested in what's the cheapest option right now, and I'm more interested in what's going to last me 10 years, increase the value, because I know this is not my forever home. I know I'm probably going to sell this place within the next 10 years. So I want something that's going to hold value, and I want something that is going to be durable and is going to save me money in the long run without having to replace the product every few years. I think a lot of homeowners think like that. So how can you demonstrate the value of the product that you are providing for them? Does it have a really long warranty? Do you offer a good warranty through your company? And are you telling people about that? Are you using products that are sustainable? A lot of younger homeowners are looking for sustainable products in their homes. They don't want to be responsible for deforestation or landfills or toxic sludge. They want things that are good for the environment, but are also good for them. I think those are customers who do that, who are really interested in explaining why their products are better, are having more success with closing deals. And again, it's not, as you said, it's not always down to price. It's about what's that long-term value.
And I think, being able to show them in as much as possible that you're going to take care of it, make it simple and easy to purchase. And that even though a home improvement project is more difficult and more complex than ordering off Amazon, everyone wants the Amazon level experience and customer service that comes along with that. So
they do. And they want to know they have recourse if something goes wrong. And that's where I think too, something that
return policy.
Something that we really like about what a lot of our customers are doing is that they're able to better track, like if the reps are presenting warranty information or any other coverage that they offer, add-ons, to make sure that these products are covered for the long term. I mean, how many people decline coverage on the tires on their car, and then suddenly, like 2 weeks later, they've driven over a nail and they need to have a tire replaced and they're angry. It happens. We want to make sure that we're giving the homeowner all the information about why we're better, why we're here to help them, why we're going to be there for them in the long term.
Yeah, well, I think that is one thing that is missing. There's a couple of manufacturers out there in Windows, for example, who say, well, if you ever get a glass that breaks, we'll go replace it. Or, it's like that long term, we're going to take care of you, not just this install, but the long term. Is super powerful. That kind of leads to that building of trust there too.
Part of why I bought my place is that my windows have a lifetime warranty like that on them. And I was like, oh great, I don't have to worry about these. I even called to talk to the guy who owns the company myself and to confirm with him that it was in fact true, because I looked at that as an investment. Yes, I'm paying a little bit more for this home than I would have for a comparable one, but that's a major expense I don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I think peace of mind and simplicity and ease of purchase,
Mhm,
all those things are big differentiators.
mhm,
And we did on a previous webinar here too, is people really care about the customer experience of what's going to
mhm.
happen when that sales rep leaves the home with a contract. So if you
Yeah.
can explain to them that someone's going to handhold them through that production process,
Mhm,
is also something we're finding is more and more necessary as far as a sales presentation. It's not like
mhm.
we're just going to schedule an install date and there's no communication between that time and when they're
Well, and
going to
especially
install.
with the 16-week lag time because you can't get the
Yep,
materials, they need to know what to
yep.
expect.
That customer service and experience has to be better than any out there. So
Mhm.
just to wrap up here, I'm
Yeah.
curious, Pam. One question I've been adding to the end of every one of these videos here is talking about just outside of Engage. So Engage is an amazing tool, cloud-based presentation software that I truly is I believe that is revolutionary to be able to keep your sales rep and just from a communication standpoint, from a simplicity standpoint, but from just consistent sales presentation tool for your organization to keep your marketing and your sales team completely aligned. I think that you need to get in touch with Engage if you haven't already. But what tool beyond Engage that you see within the home improvement space that should every company be using or you find really valuable?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, but especially if you look at our social media or our blog. But if you're not using an in-home slash virtual sales software tool like Leap or One Click Contractor, I don't know how you're going to get through this particular market. It's so challenging to do an appointment in such a short amount of time. These sales reps are being asked to, it's kind of a Herculean effort to be asked to sell a full window replacement in an hour. That's a lot that we're asking of these guys. You have to give them the tools to be able to efficiently and quickly choose products, do the estimate, get financing approved. If you're not doing that, you're really just kind of hindering your team and making it harder for them to do their job. And you're also taking away from the amount of time they'd be able to spend in the sales presentation. So it's a little selfish. We want you to have the full time to do the sales presentation. If you're not streamlining the
Yep.
rest of the in-home process, you're not going to be able to spend that time building rapport.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, and I think in maximizing every lead, every customer that you're in front of,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to make sure you have a unified system and
Mm-hmm.
process to handle that customer from start to finish is absolutely crucial today to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But perfect. That's awesome. So, well, Pam, I appreciate your time today. How can people reach out to you? How can they get in touch with you or engage?
Yeah, easiest way to get in touch with us is to go to ingage.io. That's INGAGE.io. Or if you want to set up a time to chat with our team and you don't feel like going to our website, sales@engage.io is always an option. We are here to hear you guys and help out.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much,
our
Pam,
yeah, our
for
website is
jumping on.
probably easier though for most people.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, or Serena put it in the chat here too. So you guys want to click on there too. But
Yeah, we have a
yeah, I
big
appreciate.
fat book a demo button on the corner, so you can't
Yeah,
miss us.
absolutely. Well, thank you, Pam, for your time today and
Yeah,
jumping on
thank
here.
you.
And definitely recommend reaching out to Pam and her team to kind of talk more about
Yeah,
Engage and your
yeah.
presentation.
We'll
But
get
thank
you
you,
set
Pam,
up
for
with
your
someone
time.
who's not me to do your demo. You'd much rather talk with one of our sales reps. I'll just end up nerding out with you about marketing practices, and
There
it'll
you
be a whole
go.
thing.
Well, now you're going to get individual phone calls calling you out there. So,
Yeah, hey, if you
but
want to get in touch with me to talk about marketing practices, I am down for it. Hit me up on LinkedIn.
awesome. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on here today.